I was wrong in doing what I did.
No! Are you listening?
Sean here. We're going to talk about Lorne and the polygraph test. First, I want to reference a case where a father failed and the main suspect passed. Turns out, 15 to 20 years later, somewhere in there, they found out the main suspect was the actual culprit. And the way they found out was fascinating. It was under a floorboard with a couple of drops of blood that were the little girls. And turns out the guy it was his brother's house, and he killed her. And they never did any investigation into the brother or the house. So anyway, the father had to live with that stigma forever because it was reported that he failed a polygraph test. Don't know how it got out. Pretty sure the cops back then weren't as tight-lipped as they are now. But it did get out and his reputation was ruined. Now this is Lorne we're talking about. So yeah, I think it's telling the truth in his case. Like Scientology with the E-meter. You hear different stories about whether or not it measures the amount of pressure you put on the handles, or whether it measures the conductivity of the electricity, something like that. It doesn't tell you jack squat. They claim it measures the mass of your thoughts. Yeah, there's a reason there's a cult. Lorne is an 87. He's a simpleton. And another issue when you're giving somebody a polygraph test is that you word a question in the wrong way. And I go back to the sentence, I didn't kill my wife. That's a normal sentence. But say you got the answer, I didn't kill my wife. Some of you may know this, and I apologize. And then I didn't kill my wife. I didn't kill my wife. Each time you stress a different word, you imply something else. I didn't kill my wife. You killed somebody else's wife. And I didn't kill my wife. Well, then who did you kill? The way you say things can be misinterpreted. And if you're not careful, somebody else will take that and run with it. Like on My Cousin Vinny. He's asking, I shot the clerk. But the way they heard it was an admission. I shot the clerk. So I don't know if Lorne's just he doesn't pay attention. So maybe he was listening to the questions and he got backwards on some of them. But I don't think so, because he's his own lie detector. We know he's eventually going to out himself as a liar. He's going to get caught in his lies, and then he's going to lie about that. And what scares me the most is that he's to the point where he's claiming global conspiracy. There's a global conspiracy. I mean, it may not be global in his head, but I bet he thinks everybody on the internet is gunning for Lorne Armstrong. They all know about him. Lorne. No one would know about you if you'd stop answering the fucking phone. Hello, operator, can I help you? Yeah, I need you to trace a call. The call is coming from inside the house. Lorne, not skipping a beat, would be like, yes, they're here. How do you know that's not a killer? I don't care. It was a female voice. I'm good. A woman's finally in my trailer. Na. He's dancing. He's partying. That would be Lorne. But back to what I was saying. A nervousness exam. Who's to say you wouldn't go in there and they start asking you questions? What if you're under stress? Like, man, this is so important. I just want to get this done. I don't know what to expect. You walk in and there's like 3 people and they're hooking you up and you're hooked up to what looks like a life support machine probably in your eyes at that point. And you're stressed out and they're asking you questions and your brain's racing, your mind's racing, and you may say something in a way that you didn't mean to do it. You may scream it out or blurt it out, misunderstand the question, then try to go back. No, wait, I misunderstood the question. No, I didn't do that. But it's too late because it's already registered on the polygraph. There are a lot of things that can go wrong. Like I said, human error, bias, asking questions that are going to push you to look more like you're guilty. I've been hooked up to one. When you get a security clearance, when you have to get some kind of security clearance, guess what? You're hooked up to one. And it's kind of scary. I mean, they're asking you questions. You're always afraid they're going to ask you a personal question, something you're not comfortable with answering. And believe it or not, back in the day, man, they were asking people, are you gay? If you registered that you were lying on the polygraph, doesn't matter if you weren't gay, you were gone. You were not getting in wherever they wanted. I mean, that's how insane it was back then. And people don't want their sex life brought into it. where you put your genitalia. Why is that on this exam? Why are you asking me that? Are you afraid I'm going to be in a foxhole and just start pounding the other dude? I mean, I'm sorry, but it's just insane what they used to ask. Lorne was probably horrified when he went in because he knew they were going to ask him about kids. I also don't know if Lorne's brain works this way. Well, they asked me if I fantasize about kids. I did 30 years ago, so should I say yes? I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying I could see that happen with his low IQ. Well, what are you referencing? People panic under pressure. But we know Lorne. He probably registered off the charts. And that has happened before. It shows that he's being deceitful, being dishonest. It shows that he's telling the truth. With Lorne, though, I would expect it to go off the charts, because unless he was telling the truth, and then it would just go barely above the threshold, because he's such a liar that his truths are filled with lies. He's a partial truth kind of guy. I'm only going to give you half of it. Let's see how that sumbitch registers. I do think that polygraphy tests are very helpful when you're dealing with alcoholics. If nothing more than it's an intimidation factor, it's something you can intimidate them with to tell the truth. Almost like you're bullying them in the best way possible to tell the truth. To make them think, well, they're going to find out the truth anyway, may as well tell them. Because Lorne would come back and, oh, she's so fucking awesome. I told the truth and I think they knew, I got so much to lose and so I told the truth, and they got to respect that. No, what they would respect, Lorne Lynn Armstrong, is for you not to do it in the first place. The thing that kills me about this guy, his crying, he was crying because he told the truth. He was crying because he got caught in a lie, and he had to tell the truth. So he's crying about, oh, she's so fucking awesome. I'm so glad this happened because I was finally able to get it out in the open. Casey, on her latest call, telling him, you're lying, dude. I need to see proof. I think this is good for us. I mean, I don't want to give you up. I don't want to not talk to you. Well, Lorne, you can call me back when you have proof. Well, I don't want to give you up. Just believe in me. You can't believe him. You could hook him up to a polygraph, and if it was 100% accurate, provable, 100% accurate, he would deny it and say that they tampered with the polygraph test and that it was fake and that they were just out to get him, and it would go on and on and on. At no point, even under extreme duress, would he admit the truth unless somebody said, okay, Lorne, you see this hot girl over here? She will have sex with you if you finally tell the truth. Well, maybe he would panic because he was too scared, but maybe, just maybe, he might tell one half of the truth. Yes, I was going to pick up Kayla. Yes, we were going to go back to my apartment. But I swear to God I wasn't going to do anything. Maybe that's as far as we get. I told the truth, and maybe Lorne thinks that telling 1% of the truth counts as telling the truth because technically you told a nugget of the truth. I don't know. But the polygraph test is not the end-all be-all. But it does help when you're dealing with the Dustin McFedridge or Lorne Armstrong and they're failing over and over and over again. I just think maybe Lorne believes one time he's going to go to that polygraph test and he's going to pass. They're going to ask the wrong questions, or he's going to think about the answers in a way that he believes he's telling the truth. There are some people that can believe their own lies, even ones they've made up right before they go in there. They commit them to memory, and when asked a question, they just spit those lies out, and somehow it registers as truth on the polygraph test. It can be manipulated, but Lorne isn't that smart. I think he believes if I tell 1/10 of the truth, that's enough. I'm telling the truth. The rest of it I'll get to later. I just got to work on it. He just can't seem to open up to anyone, even if it would mean his freedom. He won't admit it. He knows it's true. You can hear it in his voice. You can hear it when he gets cornered. He'll say, well, you saw the chat, or you saw this thing that everybody else called me out on. I didn't admit to. They made me own up to it. You have to make him own up to things. And I think that's what he believes Casey has to do, to make him own up to it. He doesn't have to admit it. She has to prove it. She has to prove that it's true, even if it is true. She has to prove it. The burden is on the person. Lorne doesn't have to prove that it's false. You have to prove that it's true. So I'm glad that Casey's not real. I'm glad no woman will ever have anything to do with this liar, this child diddler. Looking at that face, it just makes me sick, man. I think that Lorne needs to be locked up. This is a guy who can't pass any kind of polygraph test, even on the easiest of questions. He won't open up. He won't pass class. He won't admit it. He won't take any responsibility. Those are people you get off the street before he finds himself in a situation he could take advantage of. It's just my opinion. Just a bonus video for today. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.
Hang on, I can't even catch my breath. Hang on.